Does the summer bring you joy, but you struggle in the winters? Or actually, is it the other way around? Could the seasons be shaping your mood? I'm Neil, and today we're going to dive deeper into the roots of seasonal affective disorder. Yeah, many of us are familiar with winter blues, but the causes of SAD are multifaceted and can even surprise us in the summertime. So we're going to explore environmental factors, how the world around us and even the busyness of our days can contribute to SAD. We're going to look at biological factors, maybe what's happening within us, maybe that's contributing to our SAD. And then we're going to look at psychological factors, how we think and feel as an individual and how that can contribute to our SAD. Then you got to stay tuned because I'm going to share practical tips with you and how you can address these actual causes in your daily life, potentially easing the seasonal shift in your mood. Let's quickly revisit how our interactions with sunlight influences our mood. Remember from the last video, which you can click here, the winter days are shorter, so that means we get to grapple with less sunlight. Sunlight is essential, can you remember, for the production of which chemical? It's a key chemical in our brain which helps uplift our mood. Can you remember the name? Serotonin, well done. So sunlight is essential for serotonin production, which is essential for good mood. With the scarcity of sunlight during the winter, we should make the most of those daylight hours that we do get. We should savor it as if we had a treat, you savor that moment. That's how we should relate, or that's how we should treat those daylight hours during the winter. We need to understand the value, the importance of daylight in keeping our spirits high and uplifting our mood. When the summer arrives, the scenario shifts. The extended daylight hours actually disrupt our sleep patterns. Excess sunlight can suppress, can you remember the name of the hormone? It's our body's natural signal to sleep. You remember the name? Melatonin, well done. So the extended daylight hours suppress the production of this, potentially creating sleepless nights, restless minds. Now let's bring it closer to home. Cities, Neil. Yeah, think about it, right? These big concrete jungles with big buildings, skyscrapers, narrow streets, they are all stealing away our precious sunlight. It's like living in a maze and playing hide and seek with the sun. This limited exposure to daylight, especially in these densely populated urban areas, intensifies the effects of SAD. It's not only the architecture that's at play. The hustle and bustle of city life in general. Think about your day if you live in a city. You spend most of your time indoors, moving from one indoor setting to another, under artificial light. That further distances you from the natural daylight rhythms. But it's not just about how much light reaches us, it's about what we do and how we live with the light that does reach us. Every day, your habits, your choices should tell you a lot about your relationship with light. So for example, in the morning, your morning routine, when you wake up, do you go to open the curtains to let the light in? Okay, if it's winter, it may be dark, but you get what I'm saying. Do you do that to let the light in? Or do you go immediately to turn on the light switch, to start your day under an artificial glow? This simple choice can set the tone for your mood and your energy levels throughout the day. Our homes and our workspaces actually play a crucial role in contributing to SAD. Have a think about it. Think about your living space. Think about your workspace. Are they setting you up to be exposed to as much natural light as possible? If not, do you work with the natural light that you have? Do you set up your kitchen table or your seating or your desk at work in order to be exposed to whatever natural light is coming through? So it's about you creating the environment, a better environment to be exposed to the natural light. And yes, of course, in some spaces, sunlight is scarce. So you're just going to have to work at making the quality of that the best you can. putting yourself in front of windows, or looking for lights that mimic sunlight. And there are plenty of those out there. They too will help with your exposure to natural sunlight. And then there's the aspect of outdoor time. Remember, we're speaking about how we interact or live with natural light, how we expose ourselves to it, how long we expose ourselves for it. In our busy lives, as we touched on earlier, we seem to fall into a pattern of moving to indoor space, getting little or no light. And it's kind of funny because I was speaking to someone about this, and they realized that they hadn't been outside the house for 1 week. Due to work, due to family, kids being sick, life goes quickly, we forget. And then we can't believe it's been that long that we haven't been exposed to natural light. So be aware, be conscious of it. Make a conscious effort to get outside in some shape or form. Our everyday interactions with light may seem insignificant, trivial, has no real impact on you whatsoever. You get 5 minutes of light here, 10 minutes there, it's not going to benefit you in any way, or your lack of exposure to light doesn't really have any effect on you. It's actually the accumulative effect. If you get 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, that accumulative effect will benefit you. The lack of exposure will have a negative impact on you. It does influence our circadian rhythm. It does have an impact on our quality of sleep, and it does have an impact on our mood. By becoming more conscious of our daily light exposure and making more proactive choices, we can better align our internal environment with the external, potentially easing the symptoms of SAD. There are, of course, other environmental factors which we should consider. Temperature, for example. Extreme hot or extreme cold temperatures will affect SAD indirectly. If it's extremely cold, we're less likely to go and do outdoor activities, so our exposure to light is lessened. In extreme warm conditions, our sleep patterns will be interrupted through the daylight, through the heat, but also probably less likely to do activities in extreme heat also in the outdoors. If you live in an area with poor air quality, again, you're less likely to go outside to do outdoor activities, so again, less exposure to natural light. Green spaces and nature can impact SAD. If you live in an urban setting, you may have less access to green spaces and to nature in general. It can lower your mood, give you feelings of depression which could be linked to SAD. Biological causes, the plot thickens. Genetics may play a role, so that means some of us are more predisposed to SAD than other people. There is research out there suggesting that SAD can run in families. So if you know of a history within your family of SAD, maybe this is the condition you're experiencing. This biological cause we've already looked at, so I'm just going to quickly mention it. It's the role played by the brain chemicals serotonin and melatonin. As we know, they are crucial players in relation to SAD. Vitamin D is known as the sunlight vitamin because our body produces it in response to sunlight. This deficiency might play a role in exacerbating the symptoms of SAD. Our own mental landscape, our makeup, plays a crucial role in how we experience SAD. So it's not all just about the external environment, it's also about the internal narrative which we hold as an individual. For instance, if someone experienced, say, depression in the past, they may have more of a heightened sensitivity to the mood-altering effects of the changing of the seasons. This prior experience might prime the brain to react more intensely to the change of the seasons, more so than somebody else who hasn't experienced depression. We also have to look at our own attitudes and perceptions to the different seasons, because of course this will play a part in our experience of SAD. If you think about it, if you cherish those summer days, the brightness, being able to go for activities later in the day, longer evenings, everything that the summer day brings you joy and contentment. Then when winter approaches and all that, most of that is taken away from you, it can leave you with a sense of loss and longing for those summer days. So this emotional loss and longing may lead to you having SAD-like symptoms. Because from your experience, maybe where you lived, you view winter as dreary, nothing happens, it's quiet, it's boring, it's lonely. Whereas someone else may thrive in winter, the coziness, the comfort of it all. So again, it's your own attitude, your own perception, which can influence your experience of sad. Also, if you think about it, our own coping mechanisms and resilience play a part. How we are able to manage the changes, the changing of the seasons, the stress, and manage our own mental health can very much influence how strongly we experience the symptoms of sad. Building your resilience and introducing healthy coping mechanisms into your daily life can really help reduce the psychological impact of the changing of the seasons. All right, let's just take a breather for a second. At the end of the video, we have some unbelievable tips for you in order to address the causes we've just looked at. Stay tuned for that. Before we go on, just a question for you. What's your experience with seasonal changes? Do you feel different as seasons shift? I'd really love to hear this, get a discussion going, and hear your comments below. Okay, let's move along. And if you're enjoying these causes, these factors, without cause or with cause, please do hit the like button. Time to move along. We've touched on this one throughout the video. Your exposure to light isn't just about quantity, it's about quality and timing also. During winter, try to synchronize your daily routine with daylight hours as much as is possible. If you're an early riser, for example, try to use this time to soak in the quiet, calm, gentle light of dawn. If you live in a sunnier climate, or during the summer, it's all about moderation. So maybe during the midday sun, treat it like a spice. It's lovely in moderation, and give yourself a break from it. We said this countless times, create spaces in home and in the office where you're getting this really soft, filtered, natural air coming in on you rather than a harsh glare. This one is about changing your mindset. Let go of your attitudes towards winter that you can't go outdoors, you can't do a certain activity because it's winter time. Find a way to adapt that activity and do it indoors. Or find a winter activity for yourself. Having a shift in attitudes like this, you're opening yourself up to building your resilience, and that will play a big role in how you experience sad. Keep or create more social connection. Don't underestimate the power of connecting with people, because they can actually be the beacon of light which changes your attitude in relation to different seasons. All these strategies are very helpful, but you must be proactive in relation to being aware of your signs of sad. So a very practical tip for you. Make sure you check in with yourself every week. Become aware. Have you low energy? Low mood? Have they changed due to the changing of the season? Keep a journal, because over time, as you reflect back on last year, you may notice the same changes of energy, of mood. Then you can tell whether you have or are experiencing seasonal affective disorder. This is so crucial, knowing the signs and symptoms of sad, because if you do, you can get ahead of it. You can lessen the extent or the experience or the impact it will have on you. And that's what we'll look at in the next video, the symptoms of sad, how we can identify them, how we can recognize them, and what to do then. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.